Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to my channel. As usual, I'm doing something different every day, and lately what I've been trying to do is have continuity between my videos. You guys saw on Monday that I posted a video about hydraulic clutches on GM vehicles. It's something I deal with all the time because I have a couple manuals, and I've had a lot of GM vehicles over the years with that same clutch system. So today what I'm doing is I have some footage of the K04 swap on the Jetta that I took a couple months ago, and I wanted to finish that series. Instead of me continually putting up the new content that I have, what I want to do is finish up the content that I filmed already because I didn't want things to be out of context on my channel. So the next portion of the install is me actually putting the turbo in the car, getting it in place, getting the oil lines ready. And what I want to do is take the footage from a couple months ago from a larger video that I filmed, and I want to let you guys see it now, and then after the video is over, I'm going to go over garage updates on projects I'm going to be doing. Okay, so as you guys saw yesterday, I was able to get the snout on, and I put this coolant line on. I'm actually glad there is no studs on here because it makes it much easier to get this turbo in the car without the studs on. And then once I get it in place, what I want to do is drop it in place and then put the oil line and the coolant line in ahead of time. And then put the oil drain line in. This turbo was pre-lubed, but one of the things we need to do before we start the car is pre-lube this turbo. So in this situation, I could either pour oil down into here if I could find a funnel small enough, or the other thing I can do is crank the engine without the ignition and fuel system hooked up, and then what that'll do is it'll run oil through the turbo without actually running the engine, and that'll help lubricate the turbo before you actually run it. So that's another way of doing it. I'm sure there's other options. I might explore a couple different options before I get this thing running. So for starters, I'm going to drop this thing in place. I'm going to set you guys up under the hood so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is locating my banjo bolts. Here's my oil one. Down here on the line is my coolant. I have the brass washers on them, and I'm going to be looking at my exhaust manifold studs because I want to drop the turbo in place and get the oil drain on before I do anything else. So what I need to do is drop the turbo down, put the oil drain on, then the upper lines on the turbo, then the exhaust manifold. That looks like it'll be the easiest way to do it, or in our case it's going to be a long tube header. So I'm going to get you guys set up underneath. Okay, so I'm in luck. The new turbo did come with a new gasket. I just want to get whatever was on here off. It looks dirty, but it's actually a clean surface. Or at least it looks dirty from looking through the screen. I don't know if it actually looks dirty on camera, so my apologies, but I'm going to drop the turbo into place, and then I want to get the oil drain line on before I do anything else, because that was a pain in the butt. If you saw the other video, you would see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing to ensure this drain stays sealed is I want to put a little tiny bit of silicone on everything. And it also helps the gasket from falling off, because putting these bolts in is probably going to be a pain in the butt, because getting them out was.
I actually got the back one in. So if any of you guys caught my other video on removing this line, you'll understand why I'm putting it on first. It is a little bit of a pain in the butt when these bolts are stuck. Going in is obviously a little easier because they're obviously loose, but now getting them tight is going to be the new problem because again, clearance issues. I just can't get my hands in certain spots. The reason I'm doing it now is if I put this turbo where it belongs, you actually can't get to the bolts because the axle is in the way. Okay. Got the oil drain on, now I want to get it where it needs to be mounted. But we're almost there. I'm just trying to get this turbocharger into the mounting bracket underneath. Once I do that, I can show you what to do on top. I want to get all the oil and cooling lines in place before I put the exhaust manifold on. And this little bracket right here is where this needs to go. First cooling line I'm putting on is this one since we're down here. And what a surprise, the line is tough to get in. I'm gonna get you guys back up top so you can see what we need to do with those lines. I may have made a mistake putting this turbo right where it needed to be, but luckily I can move it around still. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get these oil lines in place. And of course, they're being difficult. These lines need to be tweaked a little bit. Okay. Was these coolant lines, or this coolant line and this oil line, I had to kind of tweak the turbo a certain way to get these things to tighten down. So that was the footage that I filmed a couple months ago. I would have gotten more of a close-up on those bolts on top of the turbo. Had I known that the footage I originally filmed wasn't the greatest shot, I would have actually gotten a better shot of those lines. My apologies, I didn't realize it because it's a couple months later at this point and the car's done. So I really appreciate you guys checking out that footage, and I appreciate you sticking by me. You know, I wasn't going to finish putting up the Jetta content, but I got a lot of messages from people asking me to complete the series, so I wanted to get it out and get everything on my channel so there's a record, or at least the entire build is in there. So that way in the future, maybe if I do a Jetta again or somebody asks me a question, at least I can go back to the content. It's not like I just deleted it off my computer, so I put it up for you guys. You know, I appreciate all the feedback. You guys are very supportive, so I want to support you as well. And as far as garage updates, I'm about to film a video on doing budget welding. You know, it's an aluminum welding video. The reason I'm doing that is I posted a video on welding about a month ago. I was hanging out at East Coast Supercharging with their in-house fabricator, and I had a lot of people messaging me about kind of learning how to weld and how to do it on a budget. Basically, if you're going to start out and you're young, how much will it cost and what's the best way to do it and the cheapest way to do it. So I'm going to kind of do a cool video on you know, getting started in welding cheap. So I have a couple other cool things coming up. You know, I have a couple engine installs. I have a 4.6 liter that's going into a 65 Mustang. You know,
It's a resto mod. It's really cool. It's gonna have modern stuff in it. So that'll be the next big project coming up, and I'm doing a wide body on my Corvette. I have a lot of stuff planned for you guys, and hopefully you stick by and want to see the stuff I'm gonna do, because I'm just as excited as you guys are when it comes to this stuff. So thanks again, everybody, and have a very nice day. And if you need anything, please comment or message me. My email and all my contacts are in the description. And thanks again, everybody. Have a very nice day.